Novi here with a quick little message. Unfortunately with this video, you can very clearly see that I'm not great at editing it, and I didn't really have much backup art to kind of interspace the video and make it seem a little better, so I do apologize for how bad the lore part is edited. The speed paints are pretty easy to edit. Obviously, it's just a little bit of a voiceover and then the art done in the background, so that's usually not a big concern. Regarding the audio specifically, unfortunately, after I had recorded everything for a second time, when I went to edit it, I had realized that a lot of the stuff I used to help to help improve the quality of the audio is now subscription-based. I unfortunately don't have a proper setup for recording, so the audio for this video is not going to be very good, is just what I'm trying to get at there, and I'm hoping to get better at editing, but yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be this long getting it out. I just ended up delayed a bit, and the next one will probably take a little bit longer just because I have a lot more OCs coming out for that, but this is just a quick little message before I get further into the video there. Hello everyone, Novi here with another speed paint. This one is a lot longer than my other speed paints, featuring 6 designs, 5 of which are canon characters, and 1 OC. This OC is actually the first one I had designed for the series, although I do have about 5. They can all be found on my TikTok account as well. Also, I won't be posting the deviant art anymore as I got locked out of my account, and I've been trying to give access to it for a while and haven't been able to. I'm still active on Tumblr and Instagram, and that's all I have right now. But anyway, before we get too far into the video, there's going to be a few timestamps to both critical pieces of information, well, I say information, lore basically, and the start of the speed paints themselves. The main reason I'm giving the lore at the beginning as opposed to when I usually interject it with the character designs is that it does involve some shipping. First off, this won't be a surprise. If you've seen my videos on the Clock app, you know what ship I'm talking about. Now, I do want to say I personally do not ship the canon iteration of these characters. That is Princess Cadance and King Sombra. Now, I will go into more depth on how this relationship started in the CU in a second. I would also like to take this second to acknowledge that Celestia and Good King Sombra, or whatever he called it in the comics, is a thing. I also know there's a thing between Sombra and Radiant Hope. I would like to say that I have not read the comics. I don't really have an intention to right now. And if that ship is something, if specifically the ship of Sombra and Cadance is something that you don't like or don't really want to give a chance, that's absolutely fine. This video probably isn't for you then, because it does play a part in it. If you don't care at all, then great. And if you're like, okay, let's see what you did that might be a little different, perfect. I would like to say that Sombra is very, very different from its in-canon universe. He is basically half Crystal Pony and then like a quarter Equestrian, quarter Umbrum. Now, I do know this does affect, of course, Cadance in Shining Armor. I am not gonna lie, I think I might just make them a throuple. That's kind of what I'm going with right now. I have a whole lore thing figured out for him, so yeah, so spoiler alert for that, there'll be a throuple later, maybe. I don't know, I might change that. That being said, if you do ship canon Cadance and Sombra, that's great. That's absolutely fine. You can absolutely dislike this video if you don't like the ship. If that's enough for you to be like, I hate this video, that's totally fine. Very quickly, some biology and a little bit of culture lore there before I get too far into the video. Crystal ponies are actually more closely linked to changelings, whereas, you know, the Crystal Empire is the Empire of Love, all that stuff in changelings feed on love. So they're more closely linked to changelings than equestrian ponies, although they are kind of that connection between changelings and equestrian ponies. Crystal pony have a much denser body, their bones are a lot stronger as well, and due to this, there are no Crystal Pony Pegasi. There are only 3 types of Crystal Pony. That is a unicorn, which is a standard Crystal Pony unicorn, a gem, which in place of a unicorn horn, they have a inlaid gem in their forehead, and of course the Earth Pony Crystal Pony, which is the more common of the 3. Cadance is the only exception to this rule, but she's not really an exception. I'll explain that more when her part of the speed paint comes up on to why she has wings and nobody else does. Magic in the Empire is reliant on the Crystal Heart, so when the heart is at full power, all Crystal Ponies are capable of certain levels of magic. Part of that is dependent on simply how often they train themselves in whatever field of magic they want to do, although their magic does not compare to the magic of equestrian unicorns, with the sole exception of healing magic. In that regard, crystal ponies are completely unmatched. They can bring a pony back from the brink of death, and they're actually quite close to achieving immortality on a bigger scale, and even in certain, although it is frowned upon, necromancy. Their hooves are actually heart-shaped on the bottom, and they do make clinking sounds when they walk. The tails, the mane on their tails only grows along the bottom in comparison to equestrian unicorns, which can grow top, bottom, both. The royal family are the only crystal ponies with cutie marks. The main reason is equestrian ponies are born with the magic inside them, whereas crystal ponies rely on the crystal heart to be able to perform magic. This is why equestrian ponies have cutie marks and crystal ponies do not. As to why the royal family has cutie marks, I am going to say it is because they have a deeper connection with the crystal heart, as they are usually the ones who perform ceremonies that require it and help keep the empire running and keep everything in charge. I don't really have something for that. I just wanted to make them special. So instead of cutie marks, crystal ponies in fact have family crests. This is actually how their names come into play as well. This will probably be one of the more contentious parts of the video, if not the shipping part, is how I decided their names were gonna work. Instead of being like name, or name. This is where it gets a little weird, and I think I might have kind of stretched too far with this. Their name is basically name of house of something of the something, with the exception of the royal family, who each have 4 parts to their name, but often pick one of it to be used more commonly. It is viewed as tacky to use a full name outside of introductions or special events. And one reason I did this is I really wanted to set the crystal ponies apart more from equestrian ponies. I consider them a completely different species. I won't lie, I also lost the first half of the Speedpaint portion of the recording, so I'm going to try and get through these as quickly and precisely as I can. I do apologize for that, but I was very frustrated when I lost it, so we're just gonna go through it. Starting with Princess Mi Amore Cristalla Cadenza, or Cadence as she prefers to be called, I added a dark blue to break up the brightness of her colors and turned her pink-purple into a gradient. I added some heart patterns to her designs and sprinkled in some lore. Cadence is the only crystal alicorn, and she is the only crystal pony with wings. I know there are some Pegasus that exist in the movie, but in this AU, crystal pony bodies, as I said earlier, are too dense to fly, so they simply just don't exist. Cadence is actually only half crystal pony, so she does have a slightly lighter bone density, and her natural magic and having larger wings does help a lot. Princess Cadence was born the only child to the Empire's Empress, and she was, of course, an alicorn. Despite having an absent mother, she was raised by her loving aunt and uncle and was adored by those who worked in the royal palace. She did try to learn how to be an empress, but her efforts were rebuffed by her mother every time. The empress had no plans to let her daughter take her throne, and instead intended to wed her off to some prince in order to strengthen her power. But after a failed assassination attempt where she was saved by a young guard, Cadence found herself questioning more, wanting to be more than just the Empire's pretty princess. So she sought him out, demanding him to teach her some ways of self-defense. The young stallion reluctantly agreed. She is still the alicorn of love, and her cutie mark was changed to be just simply the crystal heart. Because of this, she is beloved even more than the Empire's Empress, and this did lead to strife as she grew older. Some do believe she is a physical manifestation of the crystal heart, others believe that she was blessed by it. Next is Empress Mia Glimera Galantia Amore, and I said that very slowly because I kept stumbling over Glimera Galantia several times. I kept her core colors, but changed her jewelry and added some patterns. I changed quite a bit of lore in this AU, so warning for that. She believes love is a stupid ideal, despite the crystal heart needing it to protect her empire. But she does know that if her subjects love her more, she may be, quote-unquote, encouraged to give up the throne. better to keep her daughter pretty and docile and stupid, although she is very much aware of the blossoming romance between her and the young guard. She is calculating and she is cold, and she borders the line between cruel and cold there, won't lie. And she does genuinely do everything for the good of the Empire. She just simply believes the love it needs to keep it safe is not necessary. Princess Mera di Regalia Chrysalia, or Chrysalis, is the middle child, and was wed to the king of the changelings before he tragically died. Crystal Pony only lives once after all, and she fell into a deep depression, wearing a mourning veil and losing much of her shine and curl. This is the only time a Crystal Pony may have any curly hair, as their coats shine. Their coat's mane, of course, as we see in canon, is affected by their emotions and the Empire. Many were afraid that they would lose the princess, but after she noticed that her niece was not getting the love and care that she needed, she decided to step up. It would never truly make the pain of losing her husband go away, but she began to view her niece as her own daughter, ensuring that she grew up with all the love that she needed. At least that was until she went missing. Prince Fora di Bolanora. Bo is my first OC for the AU. I just wanted to round out with a trio, basically. He looks most like the trio's mother, and is known for starting most trends in the Empire. While he was not as close to his niece as Chrysalis, he tried to be as good as an uncle as he could be, and tried to step even more after his elder sister's disappearance, although it broke a part of him. King Sombra's father was a crystal pony, while his mother was half equestrian, half Umbrum. Because his Umbrum nature is such a small part of him, he does not get consistently sick like he does in canon, although too much direct exposure to the Crystal Heart can cause him to fall slightly ill. His full name is Sombra of House Sliver of the Moon, and he ended up working in the Crystal Guard, gaining a promotion to the princess's personal guard after saving her from an assassin. As King Sombra, he was a scapegoat for the Empress's plot, and the dark magic cast on him turned his blue hues to red. Radiant Hope, or now Radiant of House Hope of the Eternal, was born with healing magic considered strong even for crystal ponies. Born from a long line of head healers, she quickly found herself leading her house after the early passing of her mother, becoming matriarch and leader of the healers. Due to her high position, she often worked with the royal family and became quick friends with Cadence, helping to hide her and Sombra's relationship. Queen Chrysalis was an accident. The Empress was so angry and lost control of her magic during an argument with her sister, the already fluctuating crystal heart causing the spell to go haywire. She was genuinely, truly horrified by what she had done, but after weeks of trying, she couldn't reverse it. She teleported her sister to the Changeling Kingdom and frantically tried to put the rest of her plan in motion, sealing away her daughter in the Crystal Heart and corrupting the young guard. But Cadence, still conscious within the heart, sealed the entire empire away, the Moon and Sun princesses arriving too late after Chrysalis's letter. But after 1,000 years, the empire would reappear, and 6 ponies would make their way to it, little idea what they were in for. And there you have it. This was all just the little ideas I had for this AU, so I hope you enjoyed, but if you didn't, that's a-okay. And my next video with this AU will have 8 more redesigns and some more lore to be dropped, but my next video will be my yearly Halloween redraw of Hallow and Eve, and after that, I think that actually about wraps up this AU. I will probably move on to doing some next-gen designs, possibly maybe next-gen specifically in this AU, or redesign some of the next-gens that I had before. I still have some of their PNG art there, the base art and that, so I'm kind of trying to figure out where I'm going to go with that next, but yeah, that's everything. I don't think I've missed anything there, but thank you all so much for the likes, the subscribes, all your guys' comments. I appreciate all of it. But again, yeah, this has been Novi. Space out.